This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening, all. I'm Shasheena. Rolle. As always, it is so great to have you with us. Topping news, the suspects believed to be responsible for two separate shootings in the Garden Villas area 1 week ago in court today to answer charges. The two incidents occurring last Monday at different times in the same area. Today, the suspects were arraigned before different courts but on similar charges. Sabrina Brown has our top story.
Police stood guard around the Garnet Lavardi Justice Center Monday morning as a small crowd of onlookers were kept at bay. The three suspects were taken to court to answer charges in connection with the island's two latest murders. 33-year-old Steve DeRosa of Limewood Lane and 28-year-old Kendrick Colebrook of Frobisher Circle appeared before Magistrate Debbie Ferguson and were charged with murder. It is alleged that on March 31st, the men did intentionally and unlawfully cause the death of 38-year-old Sean Andrew Smith. The two were also charged with the attempted murder of Austin Rolle. Smith was gunned down in the area known as the Ghetto on the night of March 31st. Austin Rolle was also shot in that ordeal. DeRosa and Colebrook were not required to enter a plea to the indictable offense. A preliminary inquiry will be held on the 18th of June at 11 a.m. The men, who were not represented by legal counsel, were remanded to Her Majesty's prison. Meantime, 22-year-old Evna Philome was arraigned before Deputy Chief Magistrate Helen Jones in connection with the murder of 22-year-old Leonardo Pierre. He was gunned down during the early morning on March 31st. Philome was charged with intentionally and unlawfully causing the death of Pierre. The victim was shot several times to the upper body while in the area known as the Ghetto. Philome was not represented by an attorney. His matter was adjourned to June 10th for a preliminary inquiry, and he was remanded to Her Majesty's prison. Sabrina Brown, ZNS Network News.
Well, also in court today, 36-year-old Dwight Wilshcombe of Bayshore Road, West End, was charged with unlawful sexual intercourse. It is alleged that the incident occurred between the 16th and 17th of March involving a 14-year-old girl. Wilshcombe pleaded not guilty and elected to have his case tried in the magistrate's court. The matter was adjourned to the 9th of July. Bail was denied and he was remanded to Her Majesty's prison. He was represented by attorney Rankin Johnson. Two men are in police custody after they were arrested for possession of dangerous drugs. Reports are that on or around 6:30 Friday, officers from the Drug Enforcement Unit, acting on information while at the Locayan Harbor, searched two males and several pieces of luggage. They discovered 6 clear plastic bags, each containing a quantity of suspected marijuana. Now, both males, who are ages 24 and 35 years, were arrested and taken into police custody. The estimated weight of the marijuana is 20 pounds, and its street value is $20,000. More than 6 oil tankers now anchored offshore in Hebron Town, a source of frustration for Assistant Fisheries Superintendent Clement Campbell. Campbell telling ZNS News this afternoon that he believes the tankers could be doing serious damage to the reef in that area. He contends that the tankers are being allowed to anchor a mile offshore, which he says is a bit too close for comfort.
All of them are anchor, and when they drop the anchor down, it has to dry at least 40 to 50 feet before it gets a grip. So it damages up all the ground, the seabed. So and it takes forever for that to grow back. This is so wrong. They can't do this in Texas. They can't do this in no Louisiana or nowhere where there's oil field. So I asked Vopak or Bronco to take these 7 oil boats they have out there out further in the ocean, at least 5 or 6 miles out.
Assistant Fisheries Superintendent is adamant that the tankers should not be anchored so close to shore. Campbell says he has received numerous complaints from fishermen in that district who feel their livelihood may be threatened.
Because I know what an anchor does when you drop it. It drags and drags and drags. And those boats weigh more than, 200,000 tons or something like that? And they put it, and then the breeze is 25 to 30 knots. There's more pressure on it, pull it in this way. So there's lots of damage can be done with this. And I just asked them to move it, It doesn't look good, and I don't like it, and the persons living in this area don't like it. Because there's a group of men just left here about 10 minutes ago. They're upset about it. They just were sitting here. And I asked them what they think about it. They said this is wrong. Now, if they could see this, the powers to be should be able to see the same thing. You know, and by airing this, I hope that the person see this who in charge take some action. By tomorrow morning, these supposed to be out at least 5 or 10 miles out, and this anchor be up off the reef.
With an official from Borco who says while they appreciate the concerns as it relates to the fishing grounds, the tankers are anchored 1.5 miles offshore, which is a continental shelf designated for anchorage on maritime charts. He says the anchorage area is clearly set out on maritime maps that is controlled by the government's port department. And after months of training, business seminars, and compiling the ideal business plan, participants in the LNet Empowerment Foundation presented their business ideas before the judges this past Saturday. It was the final attempt to sway the judges and win $20,000 to pursue their dreams of becoming young entrepreneurs. It was the last opportunity participants in the Power 5 Challenge had to sell their business ideas to the judges in hopes of winning $20,000. With Grand Bahama's sluggish economy, these participants say they have become even more passionate about starting their own business. The 25 contestants presented their business plans before the judges on Saturday, and among them were Benet Benaby and Shamika Hanna.
The judges gave really good feedback, but it was very nerve-wracking. But I'm humbled and glad for this opportunity and thankful for the presentation.
We had some mixed feedback. I think overall they really liked the concept. They had a few questions about how it would actually be viable, but we had some really good financial information provided. So we think once they go through that, they'll realize that this business has conservative revenues, but it's still going to make a profit at the end of the very first year.
The competition is the brainchild of CEO at LNet Maritime Limited, Albert Hepburn, who says this process is all about empowering Bahamians. The participants had to undergo 4 months of training at a business workshop, create a business plan as well as a logo. He says this is to ensure that if they do not win the challenge, they are still prepared to move forward with their dreams. Participant Harry Moss says the seminar is what he will always remember.
There was one speaker who focused on the need, that although you can focus on consumer goods and such, but if you have that need, that refuelable need, you will always have business. And I thought that was very poignant for her to say.
The Power 5 Challenge has remained a buzz on social media, and challenge coordinator Natika Wade says many residents are excited about the future of this competition.
This process has been an empowering moment for me personally because I'm able to help carry out the vision of Mr. Hepburn with the Power 5 Challenge.
But out of the 25, there can only be 5 winners. Regardless of the outcome, participants say this opportunity can be considered once in a lifetime. If possible, they are encouraging other Grand Bahamians to take part the next time around.
Go for it. This is the opportunity of a lifetime. You don't really get this. Nobody just gives money out like this, and us in Grand Bahama, we really need it.
I think anyone that's going to give to the community is someone that should be respected. And I respect the fact that these persons have put in the time to mentor young people, to take their entire Saturday to listen to business pitches, because that could be daunting, but they're doing that, and they're doing it because they want to help. And I think that's admirable.
The winners of the Power 5 Challenge will be announced on April 14th. Stay with us. The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition continues right after this.